I was trying to follow along minute while you.
I know you do that all the time.
I've got one word I always leave out, so I said I'll call on Betty to do it myself.
Thanks.
All right, and that, I guess we're ready to hear from you,
Okay, so
and that's filling in for Amy this morning.
I am going to be speaking on behalf of Acting Finance Director and Commissioner Amy Fowler. And she's had a last minute life event come up, so she's not available to speak to the finances this morning. However, I can speak to the payroll. I've captured that and will be asking for your approval to approve payroll for the reentry program for a grand total of $45,845.20. And for the payroll that comes out of the county general fund for a grand total of $185,289.28. So between the two payrolls, it will be a grand total of $231,134.48 for those two payrolls. Amy, Commissioner Fowler has done a fabulous job keeping us solvent and current with our invoicing and billing. We have met with the banks to get a total and how to move around our online banking accounts. So right now we are up to date on our invoicing and payments and benefits and transferring of funds to the appropriate accounts to stay current with our vendors. So that's very exciting that there's been minimal hiccups in the process since we met last. I did talk to the bank this morning to get a grand total of what we currently have in our accounts. However, because we've been paying invoices and paying our health benefits, for example, the total is not going to be as accurate as it should be. So I think if you wanted, I can definitely share the account of the balance they gave us. But I think because we have, like roughly 38 accounts with First National, it's a grand total. And I'm not sure what the nuances are out around those accounts, but they did give me a grand total if I'm looking for that. But do know we have like the health fund that we've paid, we've got Maine permanent we paid and all of that hasn't been taken from the account yet. It's another way of putting it, it's in the mail for these. So so the grand total right now, and I'm just going to give you a round figure, is 6 million is what total funds that we have.
Yeah.
Okay. And that.
Do you want to bring those to Warren Sound? We'll sign it.
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Then the backup is all there. Where those figures come from.
This is MCRC.
Yes, specifically for them.
Yep, payroll is $45,845.20.
Correct.
All in favor?
Yeah.
You put your name on there.
Oh, so sorry, Commissioner Johnson, I didn't realize I was going by a previous. Thank you so much. And this one is the grand total. It's breaking it down per payroll, the reentry program as well, like, but then I give you a grand total.
This is the county general fund. And it's the grand total of $231,134.48.
Correct.
All in favor?
What happens is we take the one that you're giving me permission to transfer the funds from the reentry account into the general.
How do you like doing both jobs?
Oh, Amy has done it really. Today is just doing this piece has been exciting to see it all come together in one point and providing me with backup and probably I'm a little more detailed probably, but I want to make sure I know where these figures all come from. So I've been working closely with, I've been working closely with our payroll people to say, okay, I'm printing these reports out, but what is pulling this number from? Where is it all coming from? What benefits? What deductions are we taking from the employees to create this number? So I'm very excited that I know where it all came from.
Is the rough spots kind of working out on the payroll? that coming along pretty good?
Yeah, I think overall it's coming along. I met with the CGI rep yesterday. Do you want me to kick right into the HR pieces of this?
Sure.
Dale isn't here. Oh, Dale just came in. So, but I mean, it's very
Do
quick.
you
on
mind,
that.
Dale?
Oh, no,
Okay,
that's fine.
okay.
Oh, yeah, I'll be just quick because I really originally didn't really have much to report out. But so I have been meeting with our vendors like CGI for ISOL, who also, her name is Jennifer McCurry, and she's our representative for our health plan, our dental plan with Northeast Dental. She also represents our voluntary benefit for Colonial Life and standard benefits that allow employees to sign up for disability, short-term, long-term. And so I met with them and talked to her yesterday for a couple hours and shared with her some of my concerns with ISOL. We happened to have a manager come in to ask a question and he was able to share. So we are moving forward with some additional trainings, as I mentioned last time. So no, overall, I think it will work its kinks out. Because me being new and learning some of these, like today, it was great to actually get the warrant ready for you because I was able to really analyze the reports instead of just print and pass on. So it's been a wonderful opportunity for me from that perspective to do this today. So thank you very much for asking. So keeping right into additional HR type
Let me
information.
just get a motion and find the,
Finance,
Oh, okay,
I'll
thank you.
move that we accept the finance report.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, excuse me.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I forget about that part because I usually present and leave. So by the time I get back to my desk to watch it on the Zoom, you've already voted. So, all right. So for HR, I have processed a sign-on bonus for the new hire that we hired at the Communication Center, David Kuchek, for $4,000. That sign-on bonus, when he starts, he got 1,000, and after he's finished the training, he gets an additional 4,000 for his first year of employment.
Yeah.
So I issued that. And other than that, that's really all I had going on for HR. I can give you an update on the recruitments. I should digress to that for a quick moment. I've been working with the facilities director on the applications we received for that position.
Have you
And
received very many?
yes, overall, we received about 15. Out of the 15 that I felt qualified, it was down to about 5. The current facilities director felt he'd like to open it up a little bit more, but he narrowed his pool down to, I think it was like 2 or 3 to interview. And
Good.
yes, so I think we're going to move forward with that. And then the part-time deeds clerk, the Stacy Grant is on vacation this week, but we're slowly getting her applications pulled together because we asked for an application and then a resume. And so I've reached out to the candidates she wants to interview. So when she comes back next week, we will move forward with that. The finance director position, I've received about 5 applications and 2 or 3 really came across, were very viable. I've touched base with one. Of the 3, I've touched base with 2 of them and I've received 1 completed packet, meaning I got the paper application, I got the resume, and that background really seemed promising. And so
Where was the one from you can receive all the information from?
she lives here in our county in Waldo.
Yeah,
And she, definitely had a nice, very detailed finance background, had government background experience, but oh yeah, and the part about that was she also had experience with HR and coming up with best practices. And because me being in HR, I gravitated to that. But no, the HR, the finance piece, she currently is being as an accountant
Yeah.
for a company in the Augusta area. But yeah.
so we're moving those along as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and the
Okay,
finance director is still currently open for new resumes too. And
Yeah.
I call it, we boosted it to bring it to the forefront of folks.
sure.
Right.
Because I still would like to present to you at least 3 viable candidates to select
good,
from. So
good.
we'll do 2 rounds of interviews. The first round will be paring down the 3, and then we will bring forth to you
Yeah.
the second round. I'm hoping for at least 2. I'm hoping that's my goal.
Good,
And we're
good,
going
sounds
to-
good.
Yeah, and then just taking this opportunity to really give us the time we need to make sure we have a, good qualified candidate that will come in and meet with us.
It sounds like you guys have done a really great job and stepping
thank
up
you.
to the plate and everybody.
Oh,
And I know Amy, Commissioner, mentions every once in a while, what a good team, so on team.
we have been, Barbara's been a wonderful resource with her 25 years in here, her institutional knowledge. And our part-time Susan Prisco that we hired back in January has been very supportive with, like Commissioner Shorey's goal was,
Mhm.
has been very helpful in supporting us where we're pulling out the higher level tasks. She's been able to do the copying, do the printing, add this, add that. Very, very helpful. I know I can't, I just in the short time I've been here with the team we have right now has been so rewarding. It's just what HR wants to see is a team come together to help and come up and ask questions and let me do it. Let's stay late. I'm so happy to be a part of this team.
So that's good, that's a pleasant news to hear.
And just to share too on that too, the directors from the different departments that we have been so supportive. We've got a couple that'll stop by periodically just at the end of the day, is there anything I can do? And I was teasing one of them that I'll take them up on helping me out, because I need this cop, because Susan leaves before I go, of course, I'm here. I'll say, yeah, I'm gonna pick him up on it one time and have him help me copy this, add that. So they've been very supportive. We do have a great extended fabulous team.
That's right.
So hard. She's worked so hard, right?
Is that all you,
Yeah, that was, yes, I was so excited just to digress a quick second. I came in on Monday because payroll is always like a deadline on Tuesday, but I was actually able to lock it down Monday before I left.
good,
So-
that's good.
And I'm hoping if it stays this limited with changes and whatnot, it'll give me more time to learn the intricate background of how it was built. And it will be this way going forward.
Then when are you going to the meeting that you might look around?
Oh, yes, I went to an HR meeting last week and was talking to some folks I've known for a long time in the HR world and asked them what they're using for payroll. And they're pretty much the common theme really is no matter what payroll system you have, you're always going to have these nuances that frustrate you.
Sure.
It's just finding the one that you can adapt to. So I think.
So
with
you
us,
think
we're
we're-
the case.
About as well off as where we are as anywhere.
Well, I think it's a little premature right now to tell because I do find some of the things that are more routine, kind of clunky to move around.
Yeah,
And I'm hoping that when I meet with them, so I have asked to meet with them and want them to treat me like a new client and sell me the product. But I'm also pulling together a committee for this. So I've reached out to a couple of our directors and I've reached out to one of our employees that work up to the sheriff's office that has been very instrumental in answering questions for me. If she'll be on this committee, so when I do meet with iSolved representatives, she will have more information on it.
Good.
Yeah, I think it's important that the directors or whomever they appoint be a part of this meeting. One, because they've been here for this year that it's been deployed, they will be able to ask clarifying questions, have better references than I do, and help move forward with iSolve and working out some of these clunky features. But yeah, and so next Thursday, I do have a safety meeting. They call it a safety meeting department head, and I'll talk about that as well at that meeting.
I attend those as much as I can.
So I'll be talking about, okay, I'm hoping that each department will appoint one person to be on my committee to meet with iSolve to share their experiences. And
okay, thank you.
thank you.
We need the motion to accept the HR report.
We don't need that.
Okay.
but, It's, you do accept it.
Yeah. Okay, so excellent. So I saved my breakfast for the donut. So I'm gonna grab a donut and then leave.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Oh, then it was Gail's turn. Get ready, Gail.
Yeah, we're ready for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you too. Thanks, David.
But it's good to know that Barbara's an art, is an institution. Happens to be here a long time. I was gonna get into the projects, but before I do that, I want to let everybody know that the governor signed the bill clarifying the boundary between Knox and Waldo. So the whole thing that's been going on for years and years and years was sell is now resolved finally.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Why is our island in Knox? Because it wasn't Knox. So the first thing I've got is, I had met with the architect from Haley Ward. And he had come up with an agreement for us. To come up with a floor plan, whatnot, for both the district attorney's office and the deeds office. He had to help us get all the paperwork done that needs to be done in order to get our permits from the fire marshal's office. After that, then they're just on, if we need them, we'll call them and you know, pay them as you know, by the hour. They've got total amount is $27,000. With a $5,000 of that being a retainer, so it'll be $5,000 up front and then $22,000 as we do go through the work. Considering that our architectural fees for the other project was $240,000. I think 27,000 is pretty good.
And change.
And it'll help with the timeliness of this, because if I have to try to do all the paperwork and plans and everything else to get through the fire marshal's office, it'll be next year before we start doing anything. So
So we're staying on track on cost pretty well, deal.
yes, because in that pot that we have for architectural and engineering, we've got, where is that? Let's see here. Architectural engineering. We have 217,000 left in that pot. So this would be 27,000 of that. There'll be money left over in that pot. So, a
Good,
lot of money,
that's good news.
for that. But if you're in agreement with that, so I'll give you.
Sure, we'll do it.
That will get them on board, and they will start helping us to get the plans and specs that we need to get through the fire marshal's office. We have to get,
We need a motion.
Yes,
to,
we need a motion.
approve this, contract you just handed.
Yep.
I second it.
What would you call this? That they're voting on?
Architectural engineering agreement with Haley Ward.
Thank you. Architectural agreement.
And, excuse me, I will, I'll send you a copy, of course, scanned copy of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the money the pot of money that we originally had set aside for building new deeds. We've allocated some for renovating deeds, some for renovating the district attorney's office, and then the solar project, the sheriff's office. And there may still be a little left in there, but we kind of want to wait a little bit to see how, how things come out. We'll have a better idea once we have the plan
Yeah.
back too.
But I think it's deal very encouraging that we're staying on target on pricing rather than overrunning. That's good news.
Yeah. Well, and the emergency management and warehouse project is at this point in time under budget.
Good. How's that second building coming down?
It's all closed in to the weather, so we don't have to worry about shoveling that out anymore. We've got to insulate it, and then we can put the plywood on, and then we can put the garage doors on, and then they're gonna put the siding on. And at that point, it'll be really darn close to being done.
Okay,
That building. We haven't, it's been more of a work filler. As they hit points when things are kind of low, we're still waiting on materials in the EMA, they'd move over and work on that. And then when materials came back, they'd move back over to the EMA building. And I told them there was no real hard time crunch on that warehouse.
sure.
It'll be done this spring sometime.
Yeah.
But the thing that's been holding us up on the EMA building is we still don't have a transformer from CMP, so we're still literally running for a wire that runs down the pole across the ground and into the building. Is how we're powering the building at the moment. We don't have internet and we don't have phone. Yeah, the wiring is, and it's been, hardwired,
Yeah,
but we don't have any connections whatsoever.
Yeah, and nothing's in the plan, early now, because it seems to me, right across the street, my daughter's, or my granddaughter's, they're moving some things where CMP is supposed to be coming and
we,
changing that all around.
yeah, and the thing that we've been waiting on is a pad mounted transformer. That sits on there. It's not the transformers that hang on the poles, and it's got nothing to do with, poles are all in place. All the underground conduits in place, wiring, but we're waiting on that transformer. Until we get that transformer, we can't
Can't do
fully energize the building. The carpenters are about 90% done. They're waiting on some additional materials to finish up. But they may get pulled off for a few weeks, and then come back. Where plumbers have still got to go in and they still got to do all the fixtures, toilets and sinks and kitchens, kitchen sinks and all that, bathroom. The kitchen cabinets are actually in, but we don't have the countertops yet. They're almost done with the walls in there, but they're waiting on more materials. I think we're hoping that we might be able to move in May. Is the hope. If we can live up to that or not, we'll see, but the vast majority of it is done.
We still have to dig a pond.
Yeah, so when in May, we're gonna have Wade come back.
Yeah,
And he's going to bring the site up to grade, prep everything for paving, and I've already got Wellman's Paving on board to do the paving. And then he's got to build there's actually 3 ponds. There's 2 narrow filter ponds, and then there's the stormwater pond that will hold the water. And so he'll come back and do all that. We figure it'd be a couple months probably for it to do. So probably by the beginning of July, he'll be done. At least we're
Good.
hoping.
good.
On the budget for that project right now, we got about 900,000 left, and I got about 700,000 left in outstanding contract payments. So that we're about 200,000 at the moment under. I would like to, if it's okay with you, to come up with a budget for outfitting the building with tables and chairs and furniture and whiteboards, and also the warehouse with shelving. And we want to get a little walk behind pallet forklift, so you can lift pallets off the shelves and put them on there. That's some of the other stuff. Oh, we're thinking about getting a fire pump for that pond, because there's gonna be a dry hydrant there, which would allow us to fill the water trailers for the garden. If we got a 350, 300 gallon per minute pump, it would fill those things in a couple minutes. Those things for for the irrigation piece.
How do you feel? I think Dale, I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that. That sounds like something that
Yeah.
you need to do. I
The-
mean,
I've got an estimate of 65,000, but it would come out of that 200,000 that I'm under
Right.
budget.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it
So-
sounds like some places are less, so,
Yeah.
you're still within
We
the whole
say-
project.
But if we had gone out to bid. And had to go to a general contractor, I talked with, they wanted to build a new bus garage up at SAD 3, RSU 3. And everybody is coming in so high on bids because they don't need the work. And so they don't need to sharpen their pencil, and they're adding lots to it. Also, if you go out to bid, you have to have performance bonds and bid bonds and payment bonds and all these other
Right.
things. We've saved $1 million by not going out to bid, by doing it in-house on this project.
no, I think it's, I think from what you reported, Dale, is going very, very well. I think you're doing an excellent job.
Agreed.
Thank you. So, do you have any questions about any of the stuff that we got?
No, it seems pretty clear, I mean, I've been kind of away from it. I can understand what you're talking about, so.
Anytime you want to come out, do it, take a look, come on out.
I will do that.
Yeah, so,
The only challenge out there, the general challenge we have, is something we can't control, is that the banking industry. And who knows where the shoe is gonna drop next.
oh, yeah,
But there's gonna be more shoes drop, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And we just hope we're not one of them.
well, from 2008, it was mostly the big banks that went under.
Yeah,
The Bangor Savings and Camden Nationals and First National, they, they just putter right along because they're local. So I think our accounts are fairly safe here. We don't really have anything in the big places.
I understand I watch the stock market channel 32
Yeah.
a little bit, I'm around in the daytime. And I understand that these banks, like the Southern Bank that failed, were taking horrific gambles on tech stuff and stuff. When they loosened the restrictions about 2 years ago, that's when the trouble set in, because these banks always started to gamble on something they shouldn't be gambling on. And I agree with you. I think most of the local banks will survive pretty well.
That's kind of what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
They say sometimes it's too big to fail, but sometimes I think that you're too big to succeed.
Well, I agree with you. And they'll find a buyer, they'll buy down part of it or sell part of it, and the government will take it over. But if this massive thing existed through several banks, that means, money might not be safe anywhere.
Yeah.
yeah,
Only reason it'd be safe would be in your pocket. So I keep watching for our bank's name to come up. But it hasn't so far.
Well, we've gone through, because we had 7.7 million on the ARPA funds, and we've gone through about 5.5 of that, I think. So
Yeah.
we still got about 2.5 million left in that ARPA pot. So.
Dale, I was telling my wife the other day, when they come on, Biden come on TV, said, go to your bank and you'll be able to get your money. You take a bank that's got 1,000 locations, you take all the people like Waldo County that have money in a checking account for payrolls and stuff.
Yeah.
If all of those people start to lose their money, you can see what kind of a situation we're in.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be good.
No, 1929.
Yeah. At a massive scale. We'll show 29 that they didn't know how to lose money. We can really lose it.
Well, the thing is, we have all this confidence that people know what they're doing, in Washington
Yeah.
DC and whatnot, and they weren't any smarter than they were in 1929. So.
Yeah. But they didn't have any business to be speculating in the stuff that they were speculating in, and we can lose huge amounts of money, and we lifted the restrictions on them a couple of years ago, and so look at what happened. A couple of years they're in trouble.
My grandfather always told me, though, that we were so poor in Maine that when the Depression hit, nobody noticed.
Yeah. Do you have any more, Dale?
No, that's it.
Well, it's a good report.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks. Take my notes.
Just a quick question, Bill. You gonna have an open house when it's all done?
We probably won't
Okay.
advertise.
Okay,
We'll probably just let everybody know that, we're in, and we'll have a date when people come. Maybe we'll cook up some hamburgers and hot dogs.
Jason's.
that would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So back to
Tell
the
me more,
thing.
because I don't-
Jason, are you up there?
Okay.
Hello,
Hello,
how are you?
good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm all right. So I've been working on, I think I told you last meeting about some quotes to redesign and move our website around. I ended up getting about 9 different quotes from different vendors. Still looking through them, but I've looked at a lot of different systems that different counties and different cities and towns are using in Maine as well as around the country. And the one I'm leaning towards currently is a company called Revise, R-E-V-I-Z-E. It's a good system. It's not probably not the best system, but it's also not the most expensive system. It's, you have to sign a 5-year agreement with them. And over the 5 years, it's about a $14,000 cost versus the another one called Civic Plus, which I think the city of Belfast uses and quite a few other places use, which is about $36,000 for a 4-year agreement, which I just can't justify personally. They do a lot of these companies do a lot of other things, such as like paying taxes online and paying, you know, being able to renew your vehicle registration, and we just don't do those sort of things. So
Right, yeah.
they all advertise a lot of, you know, hey, you can save time by doing all these services. And I have tried to tell them we're just mostly, I mean, I'm not trying to put us down, but we're mostly an informational site.
Right.
You know, we don't have a
because-
lot of services that we can do
Right,
online.
you could understand in a town or a city,
Exactly.
because they do handle that stuff, but we don't handle it.
Exactly. So I will send you some information on that. I'm not looking for a vote on that today. I just want to kind of give you a heads up that we are still moving forward on that project. And I'll send you some information on that and some brochures if you want to look that over. The other thing I've been looking at is a phone system update. I've reached out to about 3 or 4 different vendors on that. I was fairly far down the line with one vendor, looking at a cloud hosted system, so we wouldn't have any equipment here. Then we had to kind of take a step back because we currently record business lines up at the sheriff's office, as well as we record the 911 lines. And to be able to do that with a cloud system, we would have to upgrade the recording equipment here for the 911 lines, because we have to record the phone calls on 911. And in the future, we'll have to record text to 911 as well as possibly video to 911. So we have to, our system won't do that currently. And to record business lines, we would have to buy a service in the cloud to be able to do that. So we'd be double paying for that service. So that kind of made me take a step back and say, well, that seems, is there a better solution to it? I then revisited, do we want an in-house phone system, an in-house recorder that would handle both? And I think that's more economical way to do it. So I have reached out for quotes for that. I think that's the way to go down the line. I do have a quote for that. And again, I'm not looking for a vote for that, but I do want to let you know that that's going to be coming down the line as well. That looks like it's going to be about $130,000 for that. That will be a 5-year, it will be a one-time payment, but it'll be a 5-year warranty on phones, everything like that. Anything breaks, they replace it for 5 years, and we can extend that warranty out afterwards. And we will, I'm shopping around for, we currently use Consolidated for all of our phone services. And we pay about $4,000 a month for all the phone lines that come in. I'm currently shopping around for that, and I've reached out to other vendors, and I've found one that I think we'll be able to save around $1,000 to $1,500 a month on, including our internet service. So I think if we, no pun intended, but consolidate our services, not with Consolidated, but consolidate them to this one vendor, we'll save about $1,000 to $1,500 a month. And they require a 3-year contract. So again, I'm going to get all those numbers together to present to you, but just kind of
Well,
like,
somewhere north of $100,000 upfront to
yes.
do a deal.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get you what we'll save per month over 3 years and get
Yeah.
you all that stuff. So it's all on paper. You can look it over and everything like
Okay,
that. So
good, sounds good.
I don't want to just tell you verbally and have it floating out there sort of thing. I like to see everything on paper, and that way it's all side by side.
I'm kind of a visual person.
Yes, I am as well. I am meeting with a vendor tomorrow concerning laptops for the sheriff's office vehicles. We are currently running what's called a Tough Book from Panasonic. The model we're running is about 12 years old. And they sit in a dock in the vehicle. The model we're running is, we're about 2 models behind. Of course, to go up to the newest model, you have to get a new dock and everything else like that. I've reached out to, I'm gonna put in for some CDS, congressional directed spending, I think it's called. More or less, it's a earmark on the budget, the Senate's budget. Mike put in that for last year for his furniture. So I figured I'll put in for it. The worst they can say is no, and we're not out anything.
Right.
I'm gonna put in for that for some laptops and upgrades for the vehicles. It's a big project just because, again, we would have to upgrade all the docks and everything else like that because we're so far behind. So I'm having a vendor come in tomorrow. It's no cost to us. Just to see if we stick with the tough books or if we go with a different system. The tough books, if we buy used currently, they're still about $2,000 a piece. Brand new tough books in this model that we're using, the newest one, I think are about $3,000 to $4,000 a piece. Then the docks are about $1,500.
Right.
So again, I'm just trying to, I think if we're going to go with something, if we're going to upgrade everything anyway, I'd like to look to see what else is out there, what the prices are, that sort of thing and everything like that. I'm also going to put in for the CDS funding for the full mobile piece for Spillman, which would give the deputies options in the car for, my concern is I don't know. Well, let me take a step back. I'm sorry. My concern is with our staffing issues we've faced in the past. I don't know if we're going to face those in the future. With them sitting in their vehicles, I also worry about ergonomics and them typing reports in there. This piece gives us a lot more options. It's a lot more better use of their time. They don't have to go back to the office to type reports. They can type them in the vehicle. They can also talk, they voice to text their reports right in the vehicle, which I think is a lot better use of their time. Again, I'm just going to put it in for the funding. If we don't get it, we're not out anything. So I'm going to put that in there as well. So we'll see what happens. I figure again, a couple hours of my time writing up the grant. If we don't get it, we don't get it. So
What does that deal cost overall, do you think?
the mobile piece itself from Spillman for 5 years is $90,000
Yeah,
for us and for all the agencies that use Spillman. The laptops themselves, again, if we went with the tough books, are about 3,000 to 4,000, including the dock, about probably 5,000 to 6,000, and we have 18 vehicles. So I can't do that math in my head right now, but there's also I don't know if the state is going to require, there has been some talk in the past about the state requiring agencies to go to e-ticketing, which you print off the ticket in the vehicle. It's not a paper ticket. Well, they get a paper ticket, but it's all submitted through the computer.
yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's going to be an issue that comes down so I'm going to put in for that printer in the vehicle. Because again, if it's, and I know it's not, this is the wrong term to use, free to us. I know it's from taxpayers and everything else like that, but I'm just going to shoot for the sky, so to speak, and put in for it. And if we don't get anything, we don't get anything. If we get some of it, we get some of it. So
That sounds good.
yeah, so that's also what I'm working on, and then working with Ray to get him up to speed and building up laptops and computers and that sort of stuff. So that's what we've been working on.
Ray's working out well for.
Yep. We're working on his schedule and just getting him kind of up to speed, and he got a laptop, so we're building that up, and then working on ones for deeds and the jail and things like that. So
Okay, yeah.
Good.
Anything else?
I think that's it for now.
Well, thank you,
Did you give me
Jason.
a phone yet?
I don't have a phone yet for you because we took the phone that we had for you and gave it to HR. So
I hope you cleaned it good.
we did. We wiped it and just gave it to her. So
Yeah, no way I was gonna keep.
no. We wiped that one and just gave it to her so she could get her email and everything on that if needed after hours. So she has that one currently.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy picking up that phone at all.
Yes, yep. We got a different number for it as well, so it didn't have the spam on it. So yeah. And we have started, we had a new deputy And in the budget this year, we got 2 new phones for the district attorney's office. And we started them off with the FirstNet on AT&T because it was a savings. So we're trying them out on the AT&T. I just got those out to them this week, so I'm gonna check in with them in a month or so, see how the coverage is and if they're getting spam or anything like that. So
Right, yeah,
we'll see how those go. So
no, I mean, if it's still okay, you know.
yeah, that's fine. Yep.
You know, once in a while I might get an email on this, but most of the time I have to go to the you know, to the iPad, but
Yep. Yeah.
it would be nice to know if I had something urgent to look.
Yeah,
at.
no, we'll get that set up on there for you. So
Sometimes I just don't know, you know, I don't get to the.
yeah, when you have some, you know, after one of these meetings here, when you have half an hour or so, we'll get it set up on your phone for you. So we can get that done. And other than that, I don't think I have anything. I think we have, I can't see April, but I think we have one more meeting and before I go to the summit there in Orlando. So I'll see you in one more meeting before that. So
Is that the last of March you go?
that is April 10th through the 13th.
Okay.
So I think we have a meeting the first week of April, I assume, or the second. So yeah.
Well, it's 34 and never beat this morning, so
Well, that's all right.
it's cool weather.
The
there.
hotel has heating and air conditioning, I assume. So either way, I think last time I didn't leave the hotel at all. So
Well, thank you, Jason.
all right, thank you.
Okay, Barbara, I guess we're ready for you.
Not tons to report, like Annette said, we've all been trying to do what we can to keep things going and trying to triage. As usual, this time of year, I've had a few phone calls related to spring road issues. Those are, nothing's coming to you at this point, so that's good. And I've been continuing to do some road research for one gentleman over the past few months. He's trying to find a very, very difficult to find road. We have had one other request for a tax abatement application. I'll let you know if that comes to before you.
When are we having that other hearing?
The 20th of April.
Okay, 20th.
Yes. Invitations have gone out to the winners of the Spirit of America.
And what day is that again?
That is also April 20th. It's a big day.
The same day, yeah, that's right, right.
Right. And I had typed those all up, but Susan got them all printed off and
A
mailed.
good job for getting those out before the town meetings. That was a
Right.
good thing to do.
And I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but I think that's what I have for you at this point.
Okay.
Anything else?
So that's it for me. Thank you.
That's it, huh? All right.
Elaine is getting up, she's getting ready.
Public comment.
I have just one comment, and I wanted to publicly thank the commissioners for signing the Waldo County broadband letter of endorsement. We really appreciate that, and it'll go a long way in helping us get fiber optics to the 5 towns. So thank you very much.
You have any updated news on that? Are you kind of still in the loop?
Right now, we are working on, and Mickey Sorter is going to be putting in congressional district spending grants applications for Senator Collins, Senator King, and Representative Golden. And hopefully we'll be able to get some funding there.
Good.
We also have a meeting tonight at 4 o'clock at the pub in Liberty. And we're going to be talking broadband there as well. And I'll have an update for you the next time on how
Sounds
that
good.
works out. But there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot to report on because it's all ongoing.
Yeah,
And I'm going to be looking for more folks to reach out to for letters of endorsement, if you will, and see if we can't get other grants other than just the big grants. I'm thinking if we, a whole bunch of little grants
Little
might add up
grants
to
too,
one
right,
big
yeah.
grant. And that's something that I'm going to be working on with Sarah Crosby this coming week.
Just show a good budget.
Yeah.
That's the key.
And right now, we don't have a budget. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard spot. We can't get the grant because we don't have the funding, and we can't get the funding because we don't have the grant.
Yeah,
So, we're working on that. That's why I'm thinking if we can reach out to some of the smaller foundations and get a donation, because we are a 501c, that, they'll be able to write it off their taxes, and we will have the funding in place so that we can say, yes, we've got this funding going. But we've got to get going, because I'm afraid that we're gonna lose a lot of our take rate if we don't get things moving. And some of the larger corporations, because when the grants came out last the day that we came here the last time with the other 3 people, the grants came out and we were not awarded our grant that we had requested. But all of the companies that got the grants were affiliated with the large corporations, Consolidated, Spectrum, that sort of thing. And that was very, very disappointing, because we thought it was for, small companies that are trying to, service every customer, and we're not getting that vibe from the larger corporations. They'll do the center of town, but they won't get the outlying areas where people need it the most. So that's why we're still pushing hard on that.
all right,
So we'll get there.
thank you much.
Thank you.
Speaking of broadband and optic, fiber optic, I just upped mine in Lincolnville to 100 up at 100 down. Yeah, I was tempted to do the 1 gigabyte up and 1 gigabyte down, but I figured, well, I'll wait on that, see, which has really been great. So, and it's less than $100. So,
Good,
so I think, most places where they get the fiber can offer something like that. Lincolnville did have that you had to have a phone for their billing or whatever. That changed. Now you don't have to pay for a phone that you never use.
yeah,
And it's just pure Wi-Fi fiber optic. So I was happy to see that. So my bill went way down from 150 to less than 100 now, and I'm getting 100.
good,
So,
good.
It's good.
You're good at sourcing out those drug deals.
right, yeah, yeah. So I mean, we're fortunate that Lincolnville's had the fiber optic.
Yeah.
It's just hasn't been the most pleasant. Now more people will be, because they don't have to have the phone that they never would be using, and pay for that, and it's more reasonable. So I hope when, this is all set up for you too, there's not a requirement to have some type of phone for your addresses in, and, the billing type thing. And that's kind of what because you never use the phone, and many of them do, but I mean, if they don't have, the iPad,
Yeah.
iPhones and, the Androids. So, but most people now don't even have a home phone online. So,
And that's what we're working on, is it's Waldo Broadband Corporation is a standalone company, even though we're a nonprofit, and having a phone is not required. And we're hoping to keep the fees to the customer between $30 and $60, and depending on income. I mean, we have a lot of low income people in the area, and the kids can't, do homework because the folks can't afford any
well,
kind of
that's
broadband.
it, right?
So if we,
So-
those folks would probably be more in the $30 range, whereas someone like myself, who is financially stable, we'll call it, I would be paying, closer to the 60 for the 100 over 100. And that's what we're shooting for. And plus the state said that they will not fund anything less. So it makes sense to do that.
Right, yeah, so, at the beginning to get this set up a good way is important.
Yes.
Because Lincolnville's had the fiber optic for a long time,
Mhm.
but we just never had the opportunity for a lot of people to get it because, you know, they'd have to have phone, they're paying for a phone too, so. You know, this is good, I'm sure they've got loads of people signing up now.
Absolutely.
In the Lincolnville area.
Good, good. I don't have, anything. I have one thing that, had the idea of floating around with a little, getting a little, help from for the finance office. In the short term, but I had a talk with Commissioner Fowler. She seemed to think we were all right and we can survive and that's got getting up front as fast as she can, 2 or 3 interviews, so I guess my deal is that would continue the way we are until we can get someone in here that's a permanent, replacement. You have any comments on that?
No, I thought, you know, when I saw something mentioned about this, I thought, yes, that's a good idea to have a part-time person.
Yeah,
Be assistant to the finance director. In some ways, I still think that's a good thing. But it would be more like what Susan is, you know, a few hours and for the whole, you know, office stuff that needs to be done. Because finance maybe wouldn't have to do something every day. But they seem to be, you know, working out pretty well right now, but it shouldn't be one of us having to be in the office all the time now.
yeah,
So that's something that we need to eliminate. So if they part-time 5 days a week, part-time person is what we need, then I think we should do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hear,
Susan only works 3 days, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So
I've had 4. Susan can work 4.
she can,
And
okay, can work.
I think Susan is at the point now that she's about as good as a green part-time
Right.
person.
So that's fine, you know, I mean, as long as we have that, I mean, I wasn't talking about, you know, I wasn't talking about having somebody plus her, you know, it was more to make sure that we have maybe 5-day coverage.
Yeah,
But, because I understood it was 3 days that she was working.
That's what she plans on. The 4 days is, I think, to help for the time being.
Oh, okay, so.
Unless something's changed while I was out, but
Right.
that's what I
So,
understood.
you know, I thought she was basically kind of contracted for the 3 days. So I just think that you know, the part-time person should be you know, 5 days. We could get somebody, or she's willing to extend
yeah,
her time. But I do think that there's enough between the 3 departments down here to have one part-time clerk for answering the phones and, you know, and helping whatever needs to be done, you know, making copies, filing, whatever has to be done. I'm sure that would keep them.
well, I did have the discussion. And the feedback that I got was that what are they gonna do, because Sue's got it pretty well covered right now, and I don't see how that's what the feedback.
Right,
that
you
I-
know, and I mean, I haven't been in the office, you know, I intend to come in frequently.
Yeah.
And where I haven't been able to do that for over a year now, so you know, to kind of know a little bit what's happening and what's going on, and I know Wednesday, the office is closed to the public. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah,
It's close to walk-ins, but you folks have asked us to still answer our phones. So really, other than, and the departments sometimes still have to come down. Honestly, I feel like Wednesday's no different. For me anyway,
no
than any other day.
But if you didn't have somebody on those days where you're not being disturbed, that would be 1 day less, you know, than
Yeah.
5 days. So that makes it 4 days. I think Mondays and probably even like Thursdays are very, very busy days. You know, the beginning of the week and the very end. So if Wednesday, because, you know, the public not coming in and all the departments can, heads can just look at what they're doing and take care of their own little, you know, place.
Yeah.
Then, you know, when public comes in, phones ringing, you know, a lot, or whatever it is, they have that part-time person. So it would be nice if Susan would be able to extend herself to the 4 days.
Well, the last I talked with Sue, and I don't know what changed, but she was willing to work 4 days for the short term.
Mhm.
I don't know if someone
yeah,
talked to it.
No, for the short term, I thought you
For the
were, I
short term.
thought you were looking for the long.
I.
No, that's what I meant. She was, and she's actually done some 5 days here and there too, so. Or parts of 5 days. No, but that was like a temporary
Yeah.
situation. That's
So,
what I understand.
you know, but I think, you know, we have a good person there. And when hire somebody other than that, as long as we're doing okay.
Well, you know, I just want you to know I had that discussion,
Right,
and
And-
the feedback that I got was, I
Right.
think we're okay.
right. And I saw an email that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That there was some communication, so, yeah, and I did respond to it and, you know, it sounded to me like a good plan if that's what we need in the office.
Yeah.
So, but at this point, if it's working out well, you know, everybody's pitching right in. I just don't think that we should have to depend on Amy being here, you know, all the time, you know, as much. as she
Oh,
is.
well, I don't think we have to. Well, I don't wanna get into that conversation,
yeah,
because she
and-
could speak
and-
for
Right,
herself, and we could discuss that at the next meeting,
Right.
but I don't. If they feel they're getting by, and the team, the three are working well together, we're only talking about 2 or 3 weeks in the.
right. No, I'm hearing you guys.
Yeah,
So, you know, we just keep monitoring it and how things are working out.
yeah.
It seems like, you know, we're doing okay. So, continue.
Well, you know, the payroll, I think, has got a lot of the bumps out of it. I think, and that's done a great job
That's a big
at
job.
that, that's pretty well squared away. And I realized that, the overall picture, but we're at the present time, we can write checks and send out checks, so we pay our power bills and the light bills and the gas bills. And
Was it ever set up for me to be a signer?
I don't know the
I
answer.
don't think so, because,
I don't think so
I would have
either.
had to go to the bank or,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, but you,
Okay,
but I'm not 100% sure about that.
having, we had discussed having two,
well, actually voted on it.
right, to have two.
I
and,
might have been you, Bill, I don't know, maybe Annette has a better knowledge
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know.
ask Annette about that because,
You know, I don't think we need, 2 people that can sign off and on, but we just a backup.
backup, but that's the main thing is the backup.
Yes, Annette.
I've been watching you, so I hope coming in is just to be able to help answer some questions, so you feel you can put closure to it. But it's my understanding right now, you are not a signer. It was just the finance director and Amy. And that is definitely something we can research and start if you
Right.
feel it's helpful.
But a lot of times, you know, like, I'm treasurer for several different, you know, places and like the executive group, you know, let's say there would be maybe 2 people who are kind of they're signers that they have to sign.
Yeah, no, that's a
But,
good idea.
And in the bank, and when you fill out that paper, there's certain things that they're allowed to do.
Right,
And, you know, if there's any restrictions.
right.
But just to have a signer and your name as a signer in case of an emergency
yeah.
or whatever. And that's what I thought I would be, is that second signer, after, Commissioner Fowler.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, we can
And
definitely
that
do
didn't happen, because I had the surgery and everything, so,
that.
but, you know, I could go to the bank and do that.
Oh, yeah.
If that's, you know, what needs to be done. And it would be a restricted type,
Right.
you
So
know,
what Amy's been doing is writing, so she's, Commissioner Howell, sorry, she's been writing the checks and of course signing them, and because we can then just mail them. And then we've been keeping very copious notes about what we're doing, so we can then, as we learn how to use our current accounting system, we'll be able to put that in there. But yes, that was always the plan, I think, was to have two signers. So from what I'm understanding, you saying that there would be the finance director be a signer as well as two commissioners sign. Okay, all right. So I guess that's just something that you vote on, or how we do it.
Because the-
You could go ahead and do
right,
it.
commissioners would be more of a restricted one.
Okay,
And, you know, so say I was second commissioner signer, my restrictions would be even more than, what, you know.
oh, okay. So you might be able to sign a check, but you might not be able to transfer funds from one
Right,
account
yeah,
to another,
right.
like Amy's doing right now. Commissioner Fowler's doing. Okay. Yeah, I guess for you two to decide on, or three, how we make those type of
Right.
decisions, and then we can, yeah, First National's right up there by Rennie's. You
Right.
could, like you're saying, you
Yeah,
can go in and do
We
that.
can talk about that, with Commissioner Fowler too.
Yeah,
So, but we did.
We didn't vote, actually
Right.
vote.
okay,
To have maybe also be a signer
yeah,
on that, so.
So I don't understand, I get a check from the state. And, for something, it's stamped. I don't understand why Commissioner Fowler is a signer for the county right at the moment. I don't understand why, if we had we have a challenge going on today that we don't know where it will stop. If that doesn't work out, I don't know why we couldn't use their stamp and vote as a commission to approve the payment. I don't think anything is illegal doing that.
if I had to guess,
Okay,
the one that,
The papers that you signed today, is that what you're talking about?
I mean,
The papers that you signed today? Is that what you're talking
No,
about? Oh, okay.
no, I'm saying you get, all of us get checks that have stamped checks.
Yeah, I stamp on it, right,
Hey,
yeah.
realize we don't, no, everybody signs this, so what I'm saying is, if we have a challenge and we positively have to have a check issued, we could use with her permission, her stamp, and vote as commissioners to make for the payment. I think that would be legal.
Yeah, for the stamp on
Yeah,
all the, let's say the payroll.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
no,
yeah.
that to me would be legal. You know, I would think, you know. And
As long as we have
it
just
could
backup,
be
right.
written on the signature paper that the bank has.
Right.
Yeah.
Should anything ever come up,
Right.
because there is 2 or 3 columns as to what you're able to do as a signer.
Right,
You know, and, you know, some don't make any restrictions, but some,
But
you know,
you're-
there's
like my
restrictions, they're on it. But they're the last man on the totem pole, you know, I mean.
Yeah. yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
you know, there's way to do it, and the bank has those papers.
Oh, yeah, so
Well,
like for us right now, commissioners, right now, Barb and I only have viewing rights to our accounts. We can't make any transfers, we can't issue any funds, we can do nothing but just view the account. So if I'm looking for like our payroll company, when we pay them, I can go on the account and just look to see, yes, they got paid, they took it, the
Mhm.
money is there, it's been issued. So that's all we have. The only one currently that has access, full access, on some levels is Commissioner Fowler. we definitely would want to set that up. So especially in the current state, to have an alternative, especially when we know you're coming in. If I had something critical going on and needed you to approve it of payment, then the bank has been very good about saying, as long as they get a verbal, even if Amy called them, I'm sorry, Commissioner Fowler called them, they would work with her too, if she was off-site and doing something and I needed, or one of us needed something. Wasn't that your understanding, Barb, from that training we had with
Yeah.
First
I
National?
think so, yes. Right.
Yeah, so we aren't as locked down as, or restricted as we
Right, yeah,
were thinking.
so,
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. We have a system we could use
Yeah,
if we had to
oh,
now.
yeah,
right,
yeah. And that can change, they with sharing, that can change as soon as Commissioner Fowler would sign off on it and approve it and so forth. So, but to your point, Commissioner Johnson is, yeah, definitely like, one of you were here, we could plan on having something ready and you could sign off on it.
I think what the discussion, the backstory that I was hearing that we didn't feel comfortable, I shouldn't say we didn't feel comfortable with two people arbitrarily signing checks, and that wasn't the intended. Any checks we signed was actually is through the commissioners, when we approved the warrant.
Right,
And I don't think it's illegal for a bank to accept someone's signature if they have a stamp.
Yeah.
I do not think anybody want to challenge that?
right. I can definitely research that one, Commissioner Shore, just to see if a stamp, when a paper check comes through with stamp on it, if it's not a what we call a wet signature, if that would be
Yeah.
acceptable. I'm happy to call and ask that question. Yeah, especially if we get it in an email, says we need your approval, and you say by email, so we get documentation that you actually did give us authorization to
Sure.
use that stamp,
Yeah,
so we have backup.
right. I'll tell you, when I sign a bunch of checks, my signature changes by the time I'm at the end of those checks.
Yeah, so yeah, but definitely, we can, let me go give them a quick call while you're both here, and I can answer that question if I can get a hold of
why
my
don't you
rep.
do that? That'd be interested there,
Yeah.
because that would answer everything for us.
Oh, absolutely. As long as, right, well, first, I'll just make sure we add you to the account as a signer. Then with your wet signature on those cards at the bank, and they confirm that the stamp is the same signature, if they will accept it on a check, is what
Right,
I'm
yeah.
going to ask. Is that-
Yes.
Okay, all right, let me see if I can get a hold
We'll
of them.
wait for a positive answer.
Okay. That's how quick they respond to me.
That's doing a great job.
Oh, she is. She really is. I said to her, it's been kind of a baptism by fire,
Yeah,
Well,
but she's really, really, really got a fantastic attitude and a fantastic work ethic, which is great. And not afraid to research anything and figure it out,
no,
which is great. And Susan's been fantastic, just fantastic. She comes with a lot of experience. She's a great worker too.
Barb, thank you for sending those reports, the budget for the jail. To, I know,
Oh, my, yes, if I,
yeah, CCA,
yep,
you're
welcome, Joe.
so I haven't heard anything more back from them. Or anything like that, so that must have been acceptable.
Hopefully, yes.
He did.
you
respond.
leaving us, Elaine?
Yeah,
We're about done.
yeah, I
He
got
did.
other stuff that I gotta get done.
He's a pleasant person to talk to. He's very nice.
Have a good day.
Yeah, and you as well. Thanks for the donut in the water.
Have a good day.
Enjoy your day.
So with the government, we got ourselves kind of in a bind now. That we got the inflation. And we got the feds. And about half the people are saying they should pause the increase in the interest rate and let things settle down. And if we let things settle down, the inflation will continue at the level it is or more. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't
It
situation.
it is, and it's just, some people are very scared.
Yeah, Well, I myself wonder about it a lot because what would we do? And we would be in the same boat as everybody else if a bank suddenly they took them over and they didn't pay all the bills. We would have $5 or $6 million, no access to it. I mean, as long as the system is going and stays somewhat
Right,
sound, Waldo County will stay somewhat sound because financially, Waldo County is in good a shape as anybody.
right,
And we can take the lump, what we had, we gotta have access to a checking account to take the lump. And I don't see, I know it's early in the game, but I don't see anyway, next year. The budget can be less than 7 or 10% increase, I just don't see it. And the stuff is increasing the days of 1% increases and the budget's gonna go down the drain. Not for us, but everybody else,
for everybody else.
and everybody else has primarily been there ahead of us.
Had a little bit here and like with the VA taking back all that equipment. Normally they wouldn't take it back. That they are looking, hey, that's a lot of money. Instead of going through the whole process again of a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah,
So I spoke to the bank and they said yes, but they did want to see the stamp signature. So you could stamp it on a piece of paper and bring that in with them
Yeah.
to keep on file, but they do have, to your point, Commissioner Shorey, they do have folks that will have their signature pre-printed on checks.
yeah, that's a good thing to know.
Right,
Yeah, but you just bring it in so they can keep it on file and compare
right.
when.
That
for
kind
the
of
one that
solves
you
the
sign
problem for us.
there. But, no, they said. fine.
Because like the payroll, always, you get your payroll check from other places. It's a stamp, because, that particular place doesn't even do it, like we don't even
Right.
do all of that.
It's
It's
got
done
an
there,
approval
so
and-
the stamp,
Yeah.
it's all stamped and, ready to go.
Yeah.
You don't have to, uh, sign anything separately.
And I'm sure when they set that up initially, you probably had to do a wet signature
Yeah,
and then
Right.
submit it, and then I had that on file. and If any, like we keep talking about internal audits or audit process, that
Right.
if there was a check
Yeah.
out there floating around, we could back into.
And we need also to keep a really good, step 1, step 2, step 3 type thing. This person does this and that person does that, and one takes it to the bank, but another one,
Sure.
does
Yeah.
other things. And make sure those internal
Oh, yeah,
things are done, because auditors don't do much with internal controls, but they're aware of them. And if it's way bad, they would write it up,
yeah,
but they normally don't,
Yeah.
they glance at it, but they don't normally give you too much input on your report. But if they saw things going on,
sure,
wow, it's gonna be in the report.
yeah, that's the
Well-
audit part.
Huh?
That's their audit part, is like, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't look right, but when they glance at it, I'm sure they at least see that there's a document, the heading, they see that we have a process in place for an internal audit, so I'm sure that that's probably acceptable. But definitely to your point, Commissioner, is, yeah, absolutely an internal audit and verification that when we use your wet signatures,
Yeah, I
sorry,
mean-
the stamp, it's like one person,
Right.
if possible.
Right, and all of us should be looking at the internal controls and making sure that they are there and that they're in place, even being shorthanded like this.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's great that you mentioned that. So when Commissioner Fowler was helping me audit payroll, she went down through it, and anything that I had for backup because I made a change to someone's pay, she initialed it too, indicating that she checked it. She see that it looked right on the paper, on the report. So yeah, I'm with you on that because when it shows that I did have someone else audit the payroll to the best of our ability at this point. So yeah, I like those internal audit processes where is needed. Sometimes you just don't, you overkill it. When you start issuing large sums of money.
So we know the system we have will work if it has to.
Yes. As soon as we step Commissioner Johnson up, yes. Yeah, and that could be as simple as her going into the bank and bringing a copy of her stamp signature for the records.
Okay,
That's all I have. Thank you, Annette.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks for all your help with the past few weeks. I understand that the group is working really well together, and that's very encouraging.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, it's no very, I think,
Makes it
I
pleasant.
love researching something and so it's, yeah, I love it. And especially when it comes together, at least till you think what come together.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to vet out that problem. A researcher, how can we expand or streamlining? Another one of my things I get excited about is if you have this 50-step process, then let's review it and we pare it down to 30 and we know we value added to all those steps and save time. It's like just to say, okay, when you say step 49, why do we do it? And they just keep saying, oh, well, because we always have, well, really, what's the impact? Who's bothered by that? Do we need it? You eliminate it, you save time. So that's a great thing too. So, yeah,
Yeah.
All
absolutely.
right, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'll be listening. In case I can help again.
Okay,
I move that we adjourn.
I second the motion, adjourn.
Thank you.